Yeah, Coach, got one of the deepest rooms in the country as usual. You're just one man. Obviously brought Coach Lilly over here. How do you make sure you're coaching all these guys? How do you get
Well,
enough eyes on all
I'll
of them?
say this: it's not just one man, right? We have a very large support staff. We have guys behind the scenes that really help us out. But it's Coach Smart to Coach Bobo to myself to Coach Lilly to we have two support guys in that room as well. It's not just one guy. But I'll say this: it's deep with numbers. It's deep with kids that want to be coached. It's deep with kids that are eager to learn. It's deep with kids that want to do things the right way all the time. Coach has been big, as y'all know, on fire, passion, and energy, right? It's deep with kids that have FPE. So when you have those factors combined and they all have that, it actually makes that room a lot easier to coach, right? I'm not saying it's easy, but when you have the type of kids that you have in that room, okay, my job's a lot easier.
Yeah, Lawson Lucky entering his third year. What are your sort of expectations for what he can do? And then following up on that, in the SEC championship game, he had a very big tackle on the interception that Gunner threw.
Yeah.
What does it say about him that he's able to make a play like that, where if you look at it from like the reverse angle, it looks like wide open field in front of the Texas defender?
Yeah, so the first thing is lead. Be an impact not only in our room but on our offense and our team. All right, in today's college football, all right, a lot of times we are void of leadership. It is hard to find that. Okay, you have to do things as a coach to cultivate leadership. All right, but when you find a kid that naturally has that, like Lawson has that in him, he needs to use that to help our team. And so just promoting him to go be vocal, promoting him to use his gift to influence not only the younger players, not just the freshmen, but heck, the senior. Like he's had a major impact on Delp, right? Not that I'm saying that Delp's doing anything wrong, but Lawson has the ability to pull others with him. And so that's been the biggest challenge with him. And then that tackle in the SEC Championship game, you know, we talk about being selfless. Okay, our motto in the tight end room forever has been feed the fire. Okay, and there's a story that goes to that. You can probably Google it and see the poem, but we always say feed the fire. Long story short, it's about putting the team before yourself, truly being selfless. And in today's world, it is really hard to do that, right? And Coach Smart has talked about, you know, if we can find the guys that really fit our program that put the team before themselves, then you're going to be pretty dang successful, right? Well, Lawson is that. He's the true example of being selfless. And, you know, just it's a pick, it's a bad play. It very easily could have just gave up on it, but he didn't. He shows relentless effort to finish and got the guy down and was a, you know, monumental play in that game.
Todd, where do you feel like Jaden has grown the most in his time with the team, and what sort of stood out to you about Jaden during this fall game?
Coming out of his shell, he needs to talk. I mean, he would talk, mute at times, right? And just sometimes that happens. You get kids that are quieter kids that come into this setting of what the University of Georgia is and our football program, the magnitude and how big this program is. You got Jaden. He comes from Peculiar, Missouri, right? And he just had to come out of his shell, and he's doing that. He's doing a lot better job of that. And from a playing standpoint, you know, he was an ex receiver really in high school. And a lot of times when you're recruiting tight ends, it's a projection position, right? They might not play tight end in high school, so you have to project them what they might be in 2 to 3 years in our league. And so he had the body type, he had the size, he obviously had the speed. You know, he wasn't the best blocker in high school. He just did not that they asked him to do that. Not that he was bad. He just wasn't a part of his job requirement. So him coming in and understanding that he had to improve that area of his game in order to see the field at Georgia, he's done that. Okay, and I'll also touch on this. Like Coach is big on if your butt ain't playing special teams, you ain't getting on the field on offense, defense. I think y'all have known that for a long time about Coach Smart. He's really bought in that you're trying to make an impact in special teams for Coach Benedict. So I'm very proud of him owning that and really trying to carve out a role for him.
Todd, I was going to ask you about working.
Hey Dash, what's up?
Hey man. About working with Coach Lilly.
Yeah.
You guys go back a long way.
Long time.
He's been in this game a long time.
Yeah.
Just what's it been like working with him? How do y'all bounce ideas off each other?
Yeah.
And how has he helped you the most?
Man, what an asset to say that you can have a guy like John Lilly with all his years of expertise coaching the position and coaching offensive football at the highest level, come back in and he's in that room as a resource. First off, he's a great man. He's a great friend, right? And sometimes when you're going to war and you're going to battle and you're away from your family so much, you just need a guy to talk to, right? And he's been that for me for a long time. Even when he wasn't here, if I'm going to call somebody about tight end play or a certain question, it was probably John Lilly, right? And so the fact that he's now here with us has been a big asset, not just for me, but for Coach Bobo and Coach Smart and our offense. And even our kids, the way we do practice, like Coach Smart's big on two-spot, and you've got half the kids practicing here and half the kids practicing here. Well, the fact that I can go down and focus maybe on this end, and you have a guy like John Lilly that's down here focused on this end, that they're probably going to be coached up better than the ones on my end, all right? Because you got such a great coach and mentor down there doing that. So, I'm super happy that he's here, and I know that we will see the benefits of having John Lilly on staff this year, no doubt.
Coach Bobo said that the tight ends and the wide receivers are basically kind of competing to see if they're going to go 12 personnel.
Yeah.
Tight ends are pushing for 13. I'm pushing for 14.
Yeah.
Trying to come up with something. So what is that competition like, and how much are you in Mike Bobo's ear saying, yeah, we can run 13?
Well, I got a hat sent to me, okay, on Twitter. Got a hat sent to my house, and it says, run the damn 13 personnel. So I got it right in my office. As soon as you open the door, I leave my door open. The first thing you see is that hat that says, run the damn 13 personnel. Jokingly, but, it's I tell my guys, we have fall goals, okay, and we're about 8 of them. One of the 8 is I want guys who can do both. Meaning usually when you're in 12 personnel, you have 2 tight ends on the field, Y and F. All right, I'm saying why not have guys that can do Y, F, and Z, or whatever they ask us to do. We want guys with positional versatility. So that is a challenge to our tight ends to not just learn the tight end position. Let's learn the slot. Let's learn the X. Let's learn the Z. Heck, let's learn the H. Let's have a better grasp of conceptual learning within the offense. That way, if Coach Bobo wanted to go 12, we have F tight ends that can do it. If Coach Bobo wanted to go 13, we have Z tight ends that could do it. So we want to be ready in case our number is called. So that's been a challenge this campus to kind of have a broader-based learning of the offense and what the concepts mean. But as far as the competition, if he calls 12, all right, and a ball's thrown our way or we get an opportunity to make a play, we better have competitive excellence because you might not get that opportunity again. So you just got to take advantage of the chances that you get. And, if your number's called, we got to make those plays.
Todd, do you have a plan for the true freshmen to get offensive snaps, like a plan to be able to take advantage of their talents?
Well, my plan for the true freshman right now is to practice 6 and then practice 7 and then practice 8 of training camp. And I know that's kind of coach speak that you might not be looking for, but the expectation is for them is to come out and try to give me their best every day. That's all I want right now. And whatever that means going forward, we'll get to that, when it comes to make the depth chart or whatever it is for Marshall. But I don't want them thinking about how much they're going to play right now. I want them thinking about how they become the best tight end for tomorrow, right? And then the best tight end for Friday. And then we got a big scrimmage on Saturday and how they can become the best tight end for the scrimmage on Saturday, okay? And, we've really been process-driven this camp. I know that's been a word that's been around for a long time, but Coach Smart's really come back this camp and not really focused on outcomes, right? And outcomes are easily, you can really, your mind can wander to start focusing on what stats or snaps or catches, touchdowns. And if you're just outcome driven, you're going to be probably disappointed when it comes that time, right? But if you're truly focused on the process and what you can do to have the best meeting tomorrow morning and then go and have the best walkthrough tomorrow morning, all right, and then go and have the best practice in the afternoon. If we do that each day, then all that stuff about who's going to play, that'll sort itself out, I promise.
Time for one more quick question.
Hey, Coach, obligatory Brock Bowers question for you here.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to get that one
Been
in.
waiting on it.
I know you're focused on the guys that are here, but
Yeah.
how much of a presence does Brock still have in terms of teach film from the past? Do you watch him in the NFL? And were there
Yeah.
plays that were put in specifically for him that have kind of stuck in the playbook for these young guys?
That's a great question. I'll say this. We actually, I think Coach Smart does a great job. Coach Bobo does a great job. And then it goes to us as position coaches of really using guys that have been in our position that are now having success in the NFL as teach tape for the younger players, right? So not just Brock. Do I use Brock? Yes. Do I use Brock a lot? Yes. All right. But I also use Darnell. I always use Ben Yurcek. He's in Minnesota right now, and they're talking about him making the 53, and he was undrafted. All right, so you get those stories, and you use those things that those kids have done. And you're just like, look at the success they're having in the league, and it just shows those guys that, hey, maybe what they're doing at Georgia actually does translate to the next level, right? But as far as the plays, I'll say this: when it comes to game planning, as an offensive play caller, as an offensive staff, you try to design things that showcase your best player's strengths. And so obviously Brock had a lot of strengths, so you try to showcase a lot of things. But when he's not here, you're trying to find out, what is Colby Young's best strength, right? What is London Humphrey's best strength? What is Oscar Delp, Lawson Lucky, all these guys that we have across the offense, you design plays for him. So maybe not just specifically Brock Bowers, but we have enough plays in our offense to showcase our playmakers and highlight what they do the best.